Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Sorry about the delayed start there. YouTube didn't tell me I'd gone live. I pressed a button, but it didn't say you've gone live, so I was like, what's going on here? But it looks like we're live, so welcome to today's daily analysis. Today is Tuesday, the 3rd of September, 2019. Time is 10 a.m. here in the UK. Any Americans here today? Have kids gone back to school in America? Kids went back to school in the UK. I don't have any kids, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because September is generally speaking when traders go back to work. Kids go back to school. All the traders are done taking care of their kids on the school holidays and going on holidays and all that kind of stuff. So traders go back to work, and the market volatility in the market picks up again. So I'm quite excited coming into September because August was not a great month for me. August was it wasn't a great month for a lot of people. It was slow moving, unexpected spikes all over the place. But now as we come into September, traders go back to work. I'm thinking that we're going to be seeing a return to normal markets. Not quite sure if we'll see it straight away right off the bat this week, but as we head into September, I think we'll get a return to normal essentially. Yeah, UK, Italy, I think Belgium. So I'm pretty sure most of Europe is around now. I imagine America is the same kind of thing. But it's cool because when the kids go back, the parents go back to work, and boom, trading volatility picks up again. So I'm into September rather, guys. Let's jump into the analysis. In today's analysis, we're going to be looking for price action setups. I can't know why I had this marked. Let me check the forum real quick. I want to see if there was a discussion on the forum about AUDCHF because I don't really remember why it's Oh, right, yeah. No, there's no one. Yeah, there was no replies there, so don't worry about this one. There's nothing there. AUD New Zealand. I'm kind of okay. So I'm going to unmark this one because this one's not really valid. But AUD New Zealand, this one's valid. I marked these all on Monday, by the way, guys. Monday and Sunday, I did some analysis and I marked off these pairs. So these are all setups I was looking at the start of the week. Triggered yet. AUD New Zealand is actually starting to make. So this one could trigger in the coming day or two. Basically, the idea here is a potential short from this resistance area. It's a strong resistance area, so looking for a potential pullback here. Well, I wouldn't really call it a pullback since it is technically still trending down. So it's just essentially a short reversal from this resistance area if it stalls out. Right now it's not stalling out. We don't know if it's going to stall out. Right now it's heading straight into the resistance area. So we basically need it to stop here. So we're just waiting for price to stop at this resistance area. If it stops, I'll be looking for a short reversal. Next we've got Euro AUD. Alright, this one is off the table. EURCAD, this one's stalling out on top of support, so there's potential for a long trade here if it continues to stall out. So what I'm looking for here is for this daily candle to close pretty much as is or similar to as is. I want this daily candle to close as an indecision candle. If it closes as indecision, I'll be looking for a long from the support level. EURUSD, quite interesting what EURUSD is doing. It's making new lows. It's trending down so far. Last time EURUSD was down here was back in 2017. So these are some significant lows that we're seeing here on EURUSD. They're over 2-year lows that we're heading into on EURUSD, or over 2-year lows that we're even at on EURUSD. So very interesting to see this. It is trending down heavily. Now, it is possible right here that today price pulls back up and this closes as an indecision candle with a really big lower wick. If that's the case, I don't know if it is going to be the case, I'm just saying if it's the case, there is potential for a long trade here. It'd be counter to the trend, so it'd be a bit risky. But there's potential for a long trade. Basically, what I'm saying is, let's see how this candle closes, and then we can make a trading decision based on that. There's also potential for a short. If it doesn't pull back, there's potential for a short. But don't worry about the short for now. We'll talk about that one tomorrow. That's a big maybe. But if it pulls back up and closes near to its open, there's definitely potential for a long trade. So let's keep a close eye on that one. GBPJPY is off the table. GBPJPY is also off the table. Oh, actually, no, it's not. GBPJPY is has dropped down to the support area here, so it's pretty. I just want to see how low the support area is. So October 2016. Before that, 2012. Wow. So we're talking about pretty significant lows here. Pretty significant lows. GBPJPY is heading back to those significant lows. Let's see if it stalls out here. If it stalls out, I'll be looking for a long trade, similar to what happened here. If it stalls out, I'll be looking for a long trade. But right now, we're not too sure what's going to happen. Definitely just wait and see what forms on top of this level. You can look at the lower time frames, potentially, if you want to jump in earlier on a long trade. But I'm probably going to stick to the daily with this one. USDCHF is on its way up. The reason I've marked this one on, I marked it on Monday, is because I was looking, I'm very curious to see what happens when it hits this resistance area. This resistance area is a pretty interesting level. It's held price back twice, which it makes it a pretty strong resistance area. Now we've also got the 200 moving average that's kind of converging with the resistance area. That gives it a bit of extra strength, a bit of extra support, or resistance in this case. So I'm actually going to remove this resistance area. I don't really see why it's there. Price just smashed through this level a bunch of times recently. So yeah, that resistance area is gone. I'm very curious to see what happens when price hits here. There could be a potential short here, but it's not there yet, so I'm just going to wait with this one, see what happens when it hits that level. I'm going to keep it marked because I want to check in on it regularly, but right now it's not there yet. So let's look for some setups that weren't really happening on Monday, see if there's anything new. Going to the lower time frames, maybe there's a potential long here. My charts are loading so slow today. Hello, load, please. I think it's my internet. It's been acting up the last few days. Well, I think I'm just gonna have to refresh. Oh, no, there it goes. Took a while. Right. Not going to do anything here. I was thinking a potential long on the lower time frames from the support level, but it's just way too messy when you look to the left. I just don't think it's a safe trade. I'm gonna not do anything there. Well, that was like a 45-second wait for that chart to load, and then there was nothing there. EURJPY is trending down so heavily. Let's try to get a support area for here in case it breaks, because this one makes sense to me. It's got several bounces. Get one lower too. This one's tricky though. Place it there. Right. So with EURJPY, we're hitting lows that we haven't seen since 2016. Really been into these new areas. Actually, I'm wrong about this one. April 2017, but if it breaks this, then we're heading into 2016 lows. So, EURJPY, let's see if it stalls out on top of the support area. If it stalls out, there might be potential for a long trade, but it would be a risky one. You're countering a extremely strong trend. Extremely strong bearish trend here that you'd be countering. So this one would be a risky move to go long in. But there is potential there. So let's keep an eye on it. Let's see what this looks like later on today, perhaps on one of the lower time frames. Might be able to snag just a quick pullback trade. But anyway, I'll give more of a summary on these at the end of this webinar. Right now we're just looking for setups, then I'll give more of a game plan for each. Oops. No. Nah, not interested. GBPUSD. That crash. A lot of people were talking about recovery. Oh, here it goes. It's going to recover from here. This is the start of an uptrend. Then come Monday morning, boom. And then today, new low. Now this one, guys, GBPUSD, this is a tricky one. 1993. How many times since 1993 has it been this low? once, which was here, 2016. Now, these charts go back to 1993, but if you were to go back to the 80s, price has not been this low since the 80s. I don't know if it's been this low before the 80s. I wasn't born, so there is that. And I don't have charts that go back that far. I'm sure with some Googling, we can figure out the lowest GBP USD has ever been. Lowest GBP USD historical. Let's see if we can easily find this, because I'm just curious to see. I know it's not that important for us, but okay. So actually, just 1 year before I was born, it did drop lower than this. So this was March 1985. So since the mid-80s, it has not been this low. In the mid-80s, price was down. I'm going to place a support resistance area here. It doesn't mean anything, this support resistance area. I've never had to use a support resistance area from 1985, and I don't think it's going to have any sort of validity. But let's just place it just so we can have a bit of a visual here. I also just want to have the all-time low listed. Actually, I forgot I can't do it there. Whoa, okay. The all-time low is actually quite low. We'd have to go all the way down to here. So this is the all-time low, but we're talking about a very, very rare thing. Price is venturing into lows it hasn't seen in over 30 years. Almost 35 years. Just think about that. GBP USD is venturing to lows it hasn't seen. I'm actually going to delete this because it's going to keep pulling my charts down when they load, I think. It's venturing into lows it hasn't seen in 35 years. That's just crazy what is happening to the pound and what Brexit has caused to the pound. So I'm going to place a support area down here at this spike that we saw post-Brexit. Not immediately post-Brexit, but a few months later when I can't remember what happened that caused that, but it was some Brexit news. So with with GBP USD, guys, I really don't know what to do. Trading wise, it's a very tricky one. I don't really see a safe trade here. Brexit news is going to have a big impact, and as we get closer and closer to October, we're probably going to start seeing more and more Brexit news. So I'm very apprehensive about taking trades on GBP. That being said, if it does hit this low, there is potential for a pullback. I wouldn't be looking at a long-term pullback because I'm not sure if this downtrend is going to actually stop. But a short-term pullback, kind of like we got here, I would say this is the next support area that we're going to see on GBP USD. After this one, guys, all bets are off. We don't have any further support resistance because we can't go back to the 80s to place support resistance. So we're just going to have to pull out of trading GBP USD if it breaks below this level. But to be completely honest, guys, I think the smartest move at the moment until after October, when apparently this Brexit stuff is going to be finished, which, you know, don't hold your breath. It's just going to be very risky trading the pound in general. So keep an eye on this level. If price drops down to here, we might be seeing something, but yeah, but I don't know what the but is. The but is I probably won't trade it. I'm just pointing it out to you guys. I probably won't trade it. I'm too risk averse. I don't like taking big risks, and the pound right now is just too big of a risk. I wonder where it's going to stop. I'm loving this though. It's great for me. Financially, it's great for me. I earn a lot of US dollars. A lot of US dollars. So that conversion is just awesome. When you earn US dollars and you live in the UK, you're laughing. But I don't think there's many Brits who are earning US dollars, so I think most people are not that happy with this. Yeah, okay, so that is all I've spotted today. Let's do a quick summary, take a look at what's going on here. AUD New Zealand, I'm looking for a potential short here on AUD New Zealand from the daily chart, but I might be willing to go down to the 12-hour. I don't want to go too far down on this one. I want to stick to the higher time frame, so 12-hour/daily. What I'm looking for is for some indecision to form here. So this means that it's not going to happen today, but it could happen as early as tomorrow, down on the 12-hour. Basically just looking for price to stall out on this resistance area, and then after that I'm looking for a potential short. So an ideal short would be something like this, for example. But obviously we do not know until this candle closes on the 12-hour, and ideally until an indecision candle closes on the daily. So this one is just it might happen depending on how the candle closes. We're just going to wait and see how the candle closes on the 12-hour. For those of you who want even less risk, how the candle closes on the daily. And on the daily, we might actually have to wait for tomorrow's candle. Well, no, we're not might. We would have to wait for tomorrow's candle. So this one we're looking at later in the week on the daily, and possibly tomorrow on the 12-hour. Depends what approach you want to take. Now, when I say depends what approach you want to take, what I mean is the 12-hour is going to get you in earlier most of the time, but it's going to be a riskier trade. You could get in too early. You could get in on a false move. Whereas the daily, it's going to filter out a lot of those false moves. It's going to be a lot safer, but it also means you might miss some trades, or you might get in late on some trades. So yeah, it all comes down to you to decide which time frame you want to trade it on. I lean towards the daily for most of my trades because I go for safe trades. Is it just Kev who's had his internet, the stream freeze, or can the rest of you guys still hear me? Next on the table is EURCAD, guys. EURCAD is stalling on top of the support area. Now this one's a lot closer to happening. We have an indecision candle on here right now. It's a pretty good looking indecision candle. We basically have to wait for this to close. Time frames for this one, I'm sticking to the daily for this one, guys. I don't want to go to the lower time frames. So basically when today's daily candle closes, if it closes anything like this, like it looks like now, there's potential for a long trade. I'm sorry guys, I don't know what's going on. My internet's just being a bit weird today. Yeah, so EURCAD, yeah, it looks good, guys. It looks good for a potential long trade. But I want to see today's daily candle closing, and then we'll look at it tomorrow for that potential long. Euro USD, I have this one marked in case it pulls back up from where it is here and it closes. Let me draw out what I would want to see. Let me draw it out on the chart. So basically, this is what the candle would look like. The ideal candle. Ignore the body that's there right now and pretend that it looks like this. That would be ideal. If that happens, then I could look for a long from about here with a stop loss about here and a target around here. Now this obviously might not happen. There's a strong chance that this might not happen. So I'm just watching this one and I'm going to see how it closes. So just wait, see how it closes. Be patient with this one. We're looking at it on the daily. I wouldn't rush into this one. And remember, we're countering a downtrend here, so it's a risky trade. We're only going to take it if it pulls back, and then maybe tomorrow it turns into a trade. It's a long shot. It's a long shot, this one. There is also potential for a short trade here, but that's longer in the future. So that's probably Wednesday, Thursday. That would require a totally different thing to happen. So instead of it pulling back, we'd want to see it move a bit further down and then pull back up and stall on the resistance area. So, but don't worry about that one too much because we can discuss that one later in the week. We don't know what's going to happen there. For today, if it pulls back, I'll be looking for a long. If it doesn't, then don't worry about it. EURJPY, basically just want to see price stalling out on the support area. I'm looking at this one on the daily and on the 12-hour. If we get price stalling on support here, there's potential for a long trade from this support area. It'd be a pullback from the support. It's against a very strong trend, so it is a somewhat risky trade, but keep target tight and it should be okay. So yeah, let's just keep an eye on this one. We don't know if this one's going to turn into anything. It's just worth keeping an eye on. GBPJPY, similar situation. We're just keeping an eye on it. The daily and the 12-hour. See if price stalls out on this support area. If it does, there's potential for a long. It's not stalled out yet, so there's not much that we can actually do. And USDCHF, finally, I'm just looking for USDCHF to pull up to the resistance area and stall out on here for a potential short. Now, if we switch to the daily, you'll see this resistance area is converging with the 200 moving average. 200 moving average acts as a support resistance area. So basically, we have combined support resistance when price hits this area up here. So there's potential for a short from there. It's not hit there yet, so this one is something that we just need to be patient on. So basically, the only one that we have that's imminent is EURCAD. The other ones, we're going to have to wait till probably end of Wednesday, early Thursday, I would say, for these others. But EURCAD, this one could trigger as early as tomorrow morning. As early as tomorrow morning, yeah. So that is it for the analysis, guys. Are there any questions? I'm not sure if you missed it, but I tend to have a rule, and I'm sorry, I tend to have a rule where I don't really go over pairs again. If you missed it, then you can just catch the recording and you can watch it on the recording. There's nothing I want to trade on USDJPY, so there's really not much reason to watch the recording. I just don't review pairs a second time if someone missed them, because it kind of wastes everyone else's time, because they might not have missed it, so they'll just hear me repeat myself. So, but there's nothing on USDJPY that I want to trade. If you have a specific question about USDJPY, like why I don't want to trade it, I'm happy to talk about that. But this is your first webinar, Colin? Well, it looks like there's no questions. So I'm going to wrap this one up, guys. I just had an idea about USDJPY, but it's nothing. There's nothing happening there. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you very much for attending. I'll catch you for tomorrow's webinar, members. Tomorrow's webinar will be a members-only analysis session, like we do every Wednesday, and then Thursday's analysis session will be public once again. So thank you very much, guys, for attending, and I will see you for tomorrow's webinar. And if you're not a member, I'll see you for Thursday's webinar. Thank you, and bye.